Hello, my loves. This is Johanna Burkhardt. I am a multidimensional channel, teacher, healer, and author. And I am obsessed with all things metaphysical, esoteric, galactic, and of course, the healing journey. And I'm here to share my stories, my wisdom, and my teachings about being human in the illusion that we call reality. Welcome to Cosmic Blonde. Hello, my loves. In today's episode, I want to talk about the truth about miracles, the beliefs we have around miracles, how to cultivate a miracle. Because most people see a miracle in the manifested result. And I'm here to change your mind about that. Because it isn't how a miracle works. And once you hear what I have to say, I think it will shift and change your perspective and the way that you live every day. Because I know that it's changing things for me. I remember once I knew somebody who worked for a spine doctor, and she would tell me stories that the doctors would tell her or that she would hear at like conventions, to where, let's say, the day or two before someone was going in to have surgery, to have cysts removed off of their spine or off of a part of their body, right? Going in to have full blown cysts removed or cancer or whatever it is. They would see it on the scans, and then the doctors would open them up on the table and there'd be nothing there. There'd be nothing there. Now, they don't label it a miracle, right? The Western medicine and the medical communities, they stay away from those kinds of terminologies, even though they know that that is what happened. And so they'll say there was a misdiagnosis or a mistake or something like that. They're not going to label it a miracle. But that's not the miracle. The miracle isn't that they had cancer cells in their body, cancerous tumors, and then they went to sleep on a surgical table and woke up to being cancer free because there was nothing there. It's not that God decided to bless them and remove all of their suffering and illness and disease. That's not what happened. The miracle is in the moment that they surrendered it all in complete acceptance that what's meant to be will be. And they released any responsibility in changing that. They weren't in any type of resistance to it. That was the actual moment of the miracle. The miracle was when they trusted that it would be taken care of, and they let go. And they let go so deeply that it released any manifested form that was blocking or causing their detriment. So let's look at it from a different perspective, because those are usually what we would consider the big miracles, right? Where someone is in stage 4 cancer and then the next day they're completely healed, or the doctor said, you have 4 months to live and it's 3 years later. Those are generally very big miracles. But we have the ability to practice miracles every day, every day. And those little miracles often create and manifest into the bigger miracle, the reality that you're actually desiring. So let me give you an example of my own. I used to think it's a miracle that I made it through the 2.5 years of being a nomad, not knowing where I was going to be, not knowing some days if I was going to have money to travel to a new destination. facing all of my deepest core fears, right? Your survival fears, no roof, no heat, no food, those types of things. Facing those fears, not only facing, but overcoming really big obstacles, challenges, and limitations, and getting to the other side, you would think that that's the miracle. I made it through. I had a good time. That's not the miracle. That's the manifestation of the miracle. The actual miracle occurred the moment I decided to trust myself enough and to have faith in myself enough that I was going to figure it out. That no matter what happened or what showed up, that I would be able to figure it out. That is the miracle. The miracle is the moment I said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do, or what I feel called to do, or what I feel like I have to do. And I'm going to trust and have faith in myself that no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. It is the letting go of control, which creates the most inner control. I need to say that again. Surrender is giving up control so that you can have the most inner control. Because surrender is often giving up what we prefer for what is meant for us. We think that what we prefer is the highest and best, and it often is not. So when we talk about letting go and we talk about surrender, it isn't just about surrendering or letting go of the things that aren't serving you. Yes, that is a very big part of it. But it's also surrendering and letting go of the things that are working for you, that you do enjoy, that you do love, because you're meant for more. And you just can't quite see from this stage or space in your being how that's going to work out, how that's going to come to be. The miracle is the moment that you trust and have faith in yourself that what you desire, who you desire to be, is happening. It is already. And choosing to let go of controlling anything externally and instead changing that control to internally, the inner alchemy. Every time the fear or the limiting belief or the story comes in, choosing to ask yourself, is that thought, is that story, is that habit serving me? Asking yourself that. Because maybe there's a part of you that does believe that something you are doing that truly isn't serving you is serving you. You might be able to learn from yourself. But when you have inner control, you're choosing to question those inner negative beliefs. You're choosing to question those stories. You're choosing to offer alternate perspectives. You're choosing to offer alternate scenarios. You're choosing to say, well, what if we trusted? What if we had faith? What if we knew without a shadow of a doubt that there was a version of us that already accomplished this? What if we chose to let go and trust in ourselves? Have faith in ourselves. That is when the miracle occurs. People who live a life beyond their wild imagination only get there by daring to dream beyond their wildest imagination, by remembering that we are truly limitless beings and that the matrix, what we call the matrix, is really an inner cage inside of our being that is built of unserving beliefs and stories and programming from society, from our childhood. And it's choosing to surrender those beliefs. Not only that, but we have to remember that the people who make it, the people who actually succeed in having their wildest dreams manifest into their reality, those are the people who are willing to try one more time. One more time. To believe in themselves one more time. To have trust in themselves one more time. To have faith in themselves one more time. To invest in themselves one more time. To believe in the calling on their heart and figuring out a way by surrendering the need to make it happen and instead trusting that it will happen, believing that it will happen, knowing that it will happen. So again, we often see or classify our miracle by the end result, but that is the manifestation, the physical form of the miracle itself. And that miracle was you trusting and believing in that desired reality, surrendering it, knowing that what's meant to be will be, and releasing all resistance so that the energy can change form. And when it's done that powerfully, and when it's done that consistently, the energy has no choice because your belief is so solid in it that it creates form. That it creates form. So the point of this episode is to stay unrealistic. It's to stay delusional, which sounds wild to say, but we are in a Piscean energy. Pisces is my moon sign, and it is the energy that I have the most of in my chart. And I have this beautiful ability to romanticize and use my imagination in both a positive and negative light. Our thoughts are either going to support what we want or they're going to hinder what we want. So they have to be questioned at all times. They have to be questioned at all times. I'm not going to settle for what I don't want. I'm not going to settle and say this is all that I get. I'm not going to settle and say this is all that is meant for me. I'm not going to live in that I'm not going to live in that lack mindset that infinite possibilities are not available for just me and that infinite possibilities are only available to certain people. I'm not going to live in that space. I have seen too many miracles take place. And when I look back, I think, how did that happen? But that's when this made sense. It happened because the miracle actually was the fact that I trusted myself, that I had faith in myself, that I believed that it was already done, that it was already available. This is the space that you've got to get to with being so concrete in what you believe about your being that it creates this foundation for continuous miracles to occur in your reality. So concrete, your belief in you, your trust and faith in you has to be the thing that is completely concrete. It is the foundation of everything you will create. This doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and consistency. However old you are, you have that many years of belief and consistency and believing in things are not going to be available for you. Maybe that you're never going to fall in love. You're never going to find your soulmate. You're never going to have that 6-figure year or 7-figure year. You're never going to have the freedom that you desire. You're never going to have a work-life balance. Whatever the story is, you have spent years and years believing in it, whether you recognize it or not. There has been a underlying programming or belief that you have to work hard for your money. This has been one that I've been reprogramming for quite some time. And that came from society, but it also came from watching my father. My father would work 60, 70 hours a week. And he made a lot of money, but he never had any money because he spent it as fast as it came in, sometimes faster than it came in, creating debt. He was also someone that lived from the abundant mindset that I will always be enough and I can't take it with me. So he lived wide openly, right? And that was his path. But that created beliefs in me that I had to work hard for my money, that I was never going to be able to save money because I only lived this one life and I can't take it with me. So I might as well just spend it as fast as it comes in instead of realizing that I can have both. I can work less, make more. I can have a healthy savings account and be able to buy everything that I want. And yes, there is no rewind button. There is no second chance. There is only this moment. Even when we understand that we are, especially when we understand that we're multidimensional and there is no future lives or past lives, that every life that we will ever live is happening right now simultaneously. So absolutely, with solidarity, there is no rewind. There is no second chances. There is only this moment throughout every life that you are living. So why spend one more day not believing and trusting and having faith in you? Because once you do, everything that you build on top of that will be way more stable, way more consistent, have way more longevity. But when you build things on a foundation that has holes in it and cracks in it that are filled with doubt and fear and lack, everything you build on it is unstable. You're always wondering, is it going to fall? Is it going to stay? So you get to decide when a miracle occurs in your life. Because that miracle can happen every day. That miracle can be today. Today, I'm going to practice trusting and believing and having faith in myself. Even if I think something's not going to work out, even if it looks like it's not going to work out, I'm going to choose to have faith that it is working out. It just may not look the way that my expectations have designed it to be or how I thought it was going to be. Because my ego mind is very limited in what it can perceive. And I have to know that there are versions and realities and perceptions and possibilities that are beyond the realm of the limits of the constructed mind. I don't have to know how. I just have to know that it is possible and be open to it changing form, for it to come in the way that it needs to hold my expectations loosely. about how it is going to be constructed in my reality. And to no longer live in a space of fear and not take these bold actions to create the life that you want. Be fearless. Believe. Have faith. Do what you're being called to do. Take the steps that you are being called to take, even if you don't know how. Say, this is on my heart. I know this is something I'm being called to do. Say, create, work with, visit, whatever it is. And I'm going to choose to believe and have faith that the way will show up for me and to know that it is already done. That is the moment the miracle occurs. And it can't be just you telling yourself that. And that may be how it starts. But that miracle happens every moment that a negative thought comes in, a negative mindset, a negative story, and you choose to say, sure, that's a possibility. But what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And we don't have to know how. We can just choose to believe that it's going to happen and allow the how to unfold. This is the discipline. And the discipline is the highest level of self-respect. So I hope that this episode has allowed you to see the truth behind what a miracle really is in our reality. And that miracle is the moment that you decide, and I mean, you decide you're done. And that this is what is going to be, and this is who you are. And anything that is not that, you offer a different perspective, and you choose not to believe that as your truth. But instead you see and you feel that it isn't a resonant match for your being. If your negative beliefs, if your negative stories, if your lack, if that was serving you, it would feel good to you. So when those stories come in, when those beliefs come in, when it doesn't feel good, that should be your cue that it's toxic for you and that it is not your truth. And in that moment, you can say, oh, thank you for showing me where this lives inside of me. That is not serving us. These are alternate options that we have to choose from because we're never limited, ever. Even if you think you are, even if you feel like you're stuck, even if you feel like you're lost, you're not. You're just unwilling to commit to being who you know you have to be in order to have that reality. You're unwilling to change the habits, the beliefs, the programmings, the stories. At least unwilling to do it consistently. And the moment that you decide that you are done, things shift and change drastically. My 40-day hard reset, I was like, I'm done with this. And I had one of the best years of my life, financially, romantically, in many other ways as well. But the miracle was I decided that I was done. I decided I was going to make a change. And I believed in myself, even when it was hard, even when I wanted to quit, even when I didn't see how it was going to work out, even when I was crawling, tears in my eyes, I was still choosing to believe and have faith and move forward. And it changed my life. The miracle occurs the moment you decide to believe and have faith and trust in you. Because everything is a mirror, a projection of what you believe. It changes your filter of how you see and how you experience reality. I would love to hear your takeaways on this episode. Feel free to share in the comments. And don't forget to share and subscribe these episodes with somebody you love or someone you know that it could benefit. And I will see you in the next episode. Hey, thanks for listening. This episode was brought to you by JohannaBurkhardt.com, where it's time to defy the limits of your mind and step into your multidimensional mastery. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. See you next time.